you see a white spot is where there was a glob of mud or the knife dragged. I would say this is about as close to a drywall nightmare as anything gets. Someone was in here just slinging the mud. So this room has an issue. I really don't know why, but there are a million what we call ledges or cliffs all over the place, which is where the knife was run. I mean, they're in the corner, they're just out in the middle of the wall, places where there's no joints. So there's about only one way to really take care of that. You can scrape all you want with like a blue steel knife, but you're just gonna wear out the knife or eventually, you know, wear out your hands. So this is what we use right here. We're gonna do a little cleanup over here so you kind of get the gist of what needs to be done. Now this knife goes two ways. One way it'll dig in, the other way it'll glide. So you want to go with the glide, which is with the screws down. And you'll see what I'm talking about. This is the glide, this is the dig in. So when you start digging in, you want to flip it over. Now you can't sand this because someone painted over it. That's the problem I'm going to have here. Is someone decided to paint over all this, and you can't sand through paint. So you just got to take it down to a point where you can fill any of the low spots with mud, like right here. This is a seam. So I'm going to scrape this down just where it's high, and then we'll run mud over that. See, there's lots of them. There's a screw. They start to come into view once you scrape them. You see the paint give way to this mud. Hey, go spider. Apparently there's a joint there somewhere. Went crazy with the knife. Good Lord. So those are all high spots where the knife skipped. I would say someone either was their hands were shaking real bad or they were drinking. I don't know what the heck caused all that. Let's see if we can clean this corner up a little bit here. That's not too bad. Let's see about this spot here. Hand down that. Now there'll be a little lip where the paint is, but you can skim over that. You just want to get the ledges, like the really bad high spots that are going to stick out in the paint and look really crappy. It all starts to come to when you scrape. dragged a knife just like that and the mud came off the edge of it. So it really doesn't make sense unless someone was just really drunk. I would say it's someone who was just really drunk. Big one. Take it down low enough where you can fill it with a knife. It's just globbed on. Alright. Everywhere you see a white spot is where there was a glob of mud or the knife dragged. I would say this is about as close to a drywall nightmare as anything gets. Someone was in here just slinging the mud. And then nothing says either I don't give a crap or we're running out of wood like pieced-in baseboards. So yeah, all these spots are all where there were globs of mud or ridges where the knife ran. So we've got this corner bedded in here. Had to build that up a little bit around this doorway. So we're gonna hit that another time or two. Same goes for out here. Just trying to patch all this stuff. This is the kitchen, you know, people walk in here and this is what they're gonna see. They're gonna look at that wall and they're gonna see all these lumps and globs, and then they're gonna see that somebody painted over it. They were drinking or they just didn't give a crap. So that's what we're trying to correct here. At least improve it by a whole lot. Came in here. This is what you get when you mix alcohol and drywall. Well, not me. The one who did the original work is the culprit here. So basically I went and scraped all the high spots down, and I just put a nice base coat on a lot of them, and they'll come back and sand this all smooth. It looks a little chunky now, but that's what you gotta do. Like when you got high spots like this that are sticking up too high, you gotta kind of cover the whole thing with mud like I did here. Then you scrape it a little and sand this and it'll blend in. You can't just like skim over it like you do a screw. And there's a couple of joints in the wall that were just a little wanky looking. So, yep, got this all bedded in. This is kind of on its second coat, but it was really messy, so I'm having to put it on thick. But yeah, that's what you get when you mix alcohol and drywall. But this is what you get when you don't drink and you come back and have to fix it. And some of these high spots you see, like here and here and here and here, those aren't even really sticking up. I scraped them down nice and flat so the paint will cover them. So this should turn out looking pretty decent for a pantry. This saves you a lot of sanding. We'll work first with the scraper like this. You have these big patched areas. You cut your sanding time in half. And the amount of dust you make in half too.